Hey everyone, Janelle Moss here. Welcome to Monday Night Team Call. And I want to, first of all, say thank you for joining us and making this a priority in your business and in your journey, and for joining us and showing up. This is your business, and I'm super proud of you for showing up and making this important enough to invest some quality time and learn some more. So the subject I'm going to talk about tonight is sharing and kind of plexus manners. I couldn't decide if I should call this team call plexus manners, plexus etiquette, sharing etiquette. It's just kind of a compilation of things in my mind that I wished I had when I started, just because some of it's kind of we talk about as we go. And there are certain things that you learn as you go that you kind of wish, oh yeah, you've got new business builders, you kind of train them along the way. And I thought it just would be really nice to have a bunch of this information in one spot to share with people. So, excuse me if I miss some things, but I'm going to try to cover it all and try to explain myself, some of the reasons I feel like some of these things are really important as well. So as I mentioned, in the post, please have a pen and paper ready, because I feel like some of these things are a given, some of them are overlooked, and some of them are pretty important, and some of them are new to people. Some of people are going to hear some things and be like, what? Why is she saying this? So I want you to be able to reference back and be able to ask your upline questions about why I'm talking about certain things. Okay. So I want to open this with explaining a little bit about why I'm doing this call. Okay. I feel like this call is important because we need to remember our culture here and our integrity and what is our purpose. Okay. And what is this culture like? And I want to emphasize that we are here to empower others, uplift others, always be positive. And we talk about that a lot. So I feel like that's kind of understood. If you've been around here a while, you know that. But it's really important that the new people that come in realize that too, and how we can create that on our teams. Okay. And so we need to realize that this comes from us, each of us individually. Each of you on this call tonight has a responsibility to create this team culture for our team, for your team. You guys, this isn't my team, Chris's team, Sal's team, Jamie's team, Sue's team. This is your team. And I want you to understand that even if you haven't even signed up one person yet, that this is your team. Okay. We are in this together. And so we want to create an environment for everyone to be uplifted and to be poured into, and we can do this together. All right. I want to mention one thing. So when I actually asked my coworkers, my fellow Jewels, what I should, if they had any advice for me on tips to cover for tonight, I just had such a huge, it just filled my cup, because one of the things mentioned was that, this culture that I'm talking about, when we've gathered at events, when we've gone to certain places, a lot of times we get feedback, especially the people who are renting the venues or showing up. We get feedback from the owners or the people, the managers where we go, that our group is just a joy to host, that we usually have positive people are very kind and complimentary. And so that is something we want to make sure that we keep that environment, right? So these are just a kind of a couple of ways that we can keep that culture going. All right. So the first topic I'm going to cover tonight is posting. Obviously, if we're sharing Plexus, we're posting. That's somewhat of a given, right? So what is our goal in posting as Plexus sharers? I would say it's to add value to people, to be authentic, relatable, People need to be able to relate to us, to be an example, and to build belief. And not only build belief in others, but they need to see the belief in ourselves and in our company. They need to see that through us and in how we post. All right. So how do we do that? How do we post in that way? So one concern, I'm going to just be real with you guys. One concern I had with doing this call was me listing a big long list of don'ts. Don't do this, don't do that. Like, here I am talking about being positive and don't be negative, but these are some things that we shouldn't do. Okay. So one of those things is when in your posting, unhealthy choices. Like, we all have a slice of pizza. Sometimes we have an alcoholic drink. Sometimes we, in emergency situations, go out for fast food. We make a box of mac and cheese. We throw a frozen pizza in. That's fine. But you guys, don't post that. Okay. That is not the picture of health. That is not something we want people to think, oh, well, they're doing it. It's okay. So I'm just going to eat this way all the time. Right. So just little things like that we need to be aware of. Okay. So we're setting an example. We're human. We're not perfect. Just, if you're going to do those things, just don't make it public. Right. So you want to be an example of good choices, things like that. So that was the first thing I thought of. And then I'm going to cover quite a bit on if you're going to borrow or copy and paste a post from other people. Okay. I'm going to touch on a lot of things actually with this, because this is something that we do sometimes, especially when people start and they're new. We make it, super simple, and we try to make it super appealing. Like, hey, you don't got to come up with all your own content right away. Like, while you're getting started and learning, this is kind of what you can do. And that's okay for a little while, but make sure, couple of points here that are really, really, really important. So jot these down. If you're going to borrow a post, number one, comment on the person's post that posted it first. That's just etiquette. That's being polite. That's like saying, thank you for letting me borrow your post. And use at least 4 words or more when you comment. Okay. Facebook recognizes that they measure a lot of things, the algorithms. So make sure you're commenting 4 words or more. So Facebook recognizes it as a quality comment. That helps the person you are borrowing the post from. That's giving them the credit. Facebook is saying, hey, this person had something of value that they shared, and this other person thought it was worth their time to type out 4 or more words. Okay. So that's number 2. So comment on theirs, make it at least 4 words or more. The other thing is, save that post and use it later. Please, 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 please do not copy and paste this post and go to your wall and post it right away. Okay. It's really frustrating for people when they make a really good post and have somebody just turn around and copy and paste it. What I recommend is saving it for quite a while, actually. I try to save posts that I really love for at least a month or more before I use them. We've got this amazing feature in Facebook that you can save a post, and you don't need, it will stay there forever until you delete it. Okay. So that if you've got mutual friends with people or relatives and they see the same post from 2 different people within even 2 to 3 days, that gives people kind of an icky feeling. Like, oh, this is spammy. We don't want to be spammy, right? And so just please don't copy and paste and post it right away. Okay. The next thing is, if you're going to copy and paste it, then before you post it, go in and tweak it to make it yours. Change some words, add some emotions or emojis. If you don't say, hey, y'all, if you don't say that, don't put that in your post if somebody else has that, right? So make it you. If somebody else is like, boy, Janelle doesn't talk like that, she must have copied that post. Like, we don't want that, okay? So that's the next thing is tweak it, make it you. And then the last thing on that is put your own picture with it. Don't use somebody else's picture unless it's like, and we don't really recommend using like stock photos anyway, unless it's like, this cute little hand with a pink drink and that's all you see, but make it your own, make the post your own. Okay. The next thing, if somebody comments on your post, the polite thing to do is go back and comment on their last post. Okay. It's like returning the favor. Just be polite. And if somebody, says, and adds value, I mean, I'll get into this in a little bit. If somebody says, oh, way to go, like that's not adding value, right? That's just a quick something. But if somebody actually takes the time to write 4 or more words and ask the question like, oh, that's really neat. Where'd you find that outfit? Or I love that color on you. That is just such a great color that looks good with your eyes. Like that's different than, oh, you're so cute, right? So if somebody does that for you, go back to their wall, find a post that's pretty recent and comment on them and add value to them the same way that they did to you. That's just common courtesy. All right. So something you may not have thought about before, but just make a mental note. All right. Okay. I touched on the 4 words. Okay. Next thing. So you hear us say add value a lot. What does that mean? If you've been around a while, you probably know what that means, but I'm going to try to explain that a little bit. So, especially with posting now, because we're still on posting, adding value means, so when you put up a post, does it look like a diary entry? You're like, oh, I did this and my kids did this and our dog, we took him for a walk and he did that. Like, is it, if somebody was like, oh, so she just told me about her day, is that adding value? It's not. It might be interesting. People like your mom and dad and family and closest friends might want to see that, but how is that going to attract strangers to your network marketing business? They're going to be like, okay, yeah, that helped me get to know her a little better. But if they don't really know you or your kids or your dog, do they care? So it's okay to do that once in a while, but most of your posts should not be like a diary entry. Okay. So just think about that. It's telling a story. It's evoking emotion. It's something they can connect to. It's something they can really resonate with. It's not, hey, I went for a walk with my dog. Okay. So just something, and know that I'm not perfect at this either, but it is something I try to be aware of. Okay. So evoking feelings, what is somebody learning from you? Are you teaching them something? Is it something they didn't know before? Like, are they going to, the next time they see you, when they're scrolling through their feed and they see, oh, here's this person, are they going to think, oh, I need to stop because she always has interesting things. I always learn something new from her. Or like, create that curiosity, create that connection so that when they see your name, they want to stop and see what you have to say. Okay. All right. Next thing. Ask yourself when you're posting, how is this beneficial for other people? That kind of goes back to, is it just a diary entry? How is this beneficial for them? Is it helping them in any sort of life situation? Is it something that we can help with how we word things? With connection, that kind of thing? How could their life change because of what you've shared? Would they feel better? Would they be able to be a better parent? Would they be able to be a better spouse? Just really creating good connections for them to be able to understand how they could be helped. Okay. So that was posting. The next section I'm going to touch on is commenting. I did that a little bit in my posting actually too. But one thing I want to touch on in commenting is, please don't comment on somebody else's post like you're not a Plexus person. Okay. They know. And it's a little icky feeling. If, you are advertising a sale and you're like, I need 6 more people to try my pink drink this month. I'm really working hard for a goal or whatever. And you're like, sign me up. I'll do it. They know you already take Plexus. It's icky. Don't do it. You can go in and comment and say, oh, if I could have this deal again, all over again, that would be awesome. I love my pink drink. But don't pretend you're not a Plexus user, okay? It is a turnoff. It is just, honestly, it creates a feeling of non-authenticity, if that's a word, that you're pretending, and people don't like that. That is counteracting what we're trying to do with being authentic and being real and relatable, okay? So it hurts our culture. It really does. People think, oh, Plexus people, they're doing that again, So always being protective of our culture and our positivity and our authenticity. Okay. So just that on commenting. The next section I'm going to talk a little bit on is basically general interactions. Okay. So if you've been around here a little bit, we do not tolerate complaining. We do not tolerate any sort of negativity, especially sidelines and downlines. If you have something that you need to go through or talk about or you're struggling with, you always go up. Your upline is there to talk you through some of this stuff, but your downline is not. Okay, your downline, yes, you can be friends. Yes, you're going to be close. That's okay. But if you've got issues and struggles and are really just kind of wondering what to do, or just in any sort of a negative or uncertain way, you should never go to your downlines, and also not to your sidelines. I will touch on that in a little bit more. Just remember, especially, and you guys, I'm thinking of this now too, because convention is next week. So a lot of us on here are hopefully and should be at convention next week. Be careful. Some of us are going to room with people that we don't know very well, or sidelines. We're on a team together. We're levels 1s, 2s, and 3s, but we're on the same team. Remember to keep the culture positive and be aware of, especially one thing, if you've got some hard stuff going on at home, either personally, with business, be careful how you talk to the people that are surrounding you. Okay. Not that we can't be real, and not that we can't say, I'm just really struggling right now with something. Can I ask for some prayers? Like, that's definitely okay to be real. But what I want you to think about is this. If, let's say, you are just really struggling and you share that with a downline or a sideline, how is that going to impact them? Okay. Be aware that that actually can drag other people down. It can impact their mindset, their belief, their integrity in what can be accomplished. And it's like the rotten apple in the bushel basket, right? One rotten apple. And I'm not saying if you share a struggle that you're a rotten apple, but what I'm saying is these things can happen from a good place and turn out bad. And you don't want that. You want to be really aware of how what you're saying, even though you might be just like bearing your heart and sharing your soul, it actually can be counterproductive for someone else. And that is not adding value. That is not uplifting. That is not encouraging. So just be very, very cautious and careful with that. Okay. Next point, do not headhunt people who are working for other companies. If you're in any sort of a group that is posting like, oh, I'm just looking for a different company, or you can be any, and we encourage people to get in different groups, right? To network, but be careful how you're doing that. If somebody else is with a different company, don't try to recruit them to Plexus. That is not being filled with integrity. That is being a little icky. Like, how do we feel? How would you feel if somebody, you love Plexus, you're sharing Plexus, you got big goals and dreams, and somebody came to you and tried to convert you to a different company? That would not feel okay, right? You would be like a little put off and just kind of disgruntled. That's what you would be to them. So just think about that, right? We can help them with gut health. We can help them with hormone balance. We can help them with inflammation. That doesn't mean that we can try to get them to do something else with a different company. Okay. So just be careful with that. Don't headhunt. I just love that term. Okay. The other way that we can generally interact with our team, and this is so basic, you guys, but I feel like it needs to be said. It shouldn't need to be said, but it is. Show up. Show up. Let's see your face. Let's see you on book clubs, cameras on. I understand there's times where you can't, but most of the time your camera should be on. You should be fully present. You should not be doing your IPA or messaging people back and forth. Guess what? Guess what? If we're in your chats and you're messaging back and forth with people and you're on book club or team call, your leaders can see that. They can see you're not fully present and engaged and trying to learn. And for the people that have prepared to do these calls, it's really disrespectful to be working during those times. So just think about that. If you spent 5 to 8 hours preparing a team call and somebody else was chit-chatting back and forth or sending out messages because they didn't have time to do them that day beforehand, how would that make you feel? Okay, so just think about that. So yes, showing up, book clubs, team calls, I get it. We've got life, we've got kids. May is graduation. June, July, and August are summer. We've got weddings. We've got everything. But if it's not big, you should be prioritizing being present. And that's one of the ways of being present. Okay. All right. Next section I'm going to cover here. Ooh, I better talk faster. Here I was worried I wasn't going to have enough to fill up my time. Okay. Team page. So I feel like some people, and maybe most people, because it's kind of unspoken, you guys, the team page, the BU team page is your page. Did you know that? Did you know that you can post and you can add value in the team page? You do not need to be a certain rank. You do not need to be a jewel. You don't even need to have one join. If you're sharing Plexus and you have something of value to add, did you know you can post in the team page? That is your team page, is our team page together as a team. Okay, we are all a part of the team page. And so I really want to encourage you, like there should not be one day ever without something in the team page, not just our joins, but we have hundreds of people on our team. There should be never a day where something of value is not added to our team page. So take that seriously. Put that on yourself. And guess what? When you show up in the team page, that means you're a leader. you are showing leadership, you are showing up. And so I encourage you all to know that you can do that. Okay. And you should do that. We should all be doing that. And on that note, when people get a join in the team page, there should be hundreds of welcomes. You guys, sometimes there's barely 10. We should all be welcoming people to our team page. These people that are joining our team should feel the love so deeply that they're like blown away. Like, what is this? I don't even know what I'm a part of. This is crazy. I have all these people that are pouring into me and I don't even know them, right? This is part of our culture. It's part of our integrity. And this is our page. So I want you to know that. And so the last little tidbit I'm going to touch on here is messenger chats. Any chat, and it doesn't necessarily have to be messenger, but this is what I was thinking of when I wrote it. Any chat that you are in messenger, so if it's a text thread, if it's a group email, whatever, with sidelines, downlines. So some of the things I'm thinking of are, let's say, for example, we're going to have a Super Saturday. All right. So we start this big Super Saturday group. Either we're planning it or we're talking about, the time or whatever. When we are in those chats, there should be, and this goes without saying, no negativity, right? We talk about that, no negativity. Well, guess what? Sometimes people put things in there that are negative that they don't think are negative. So I want to touch on that for just a couple minutes. Bear with me. I know we're kind of at the end of our time, but this is important. This is very, 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 very important. You guys stick with me. That means no explanations why you can't come. That means no anything that's not adding value. Okay. If you're saying, oh, shoot, my son has a baseball game that night. Is that adding value? No. So just don't say it. Okay. It's better to just be quiet and not say anything than to put anything like that in there. Oh, I can't come. Wish I could make it, but I have such and such. Do you want to know why? I know this seems like a petty thing, but it's not, because I've seen it over and over and over. The reason why that's not okay is because that opens up the door for everyone else to think, oh, I can't make it either. Or, oh, I have that night. Well, they're all not going. So I'm just, it allows room and plants the seed in a lot of other people's minds of why they can't come to. Okay. So I know when we do these things, and you guys, I did this. So I'm not pointing fingers, but I'm just saying it's very, very important that we don't do that. Okay. So if it's not positive, if your answer isn't yes, then just don't reply. Right. Or if there is an option on a poll that says, like yes, no, that's fine. Just vote, but don't put an explanation or a reason, AKA excuse, whatever it is. And it's probably super valid, right? Take the convention chat, for example. I mean, a lot of us are in there. And what happened in the convention chat? A lot of people either changed their vote to can't going, left the group. What does that do to people's brains? Does that create positive and add value? No. So just be really, really aware of what you're doing and how that can impact other people. It in of itself, it might not be a bad thing, but what is it going to lead to in other people? Okay. So I really, you guys, I'm going to be honest. I asked for prayers from a couple friends today, and I prayed myself that a lot of this, of what I said tonight, would come off from a really good heart and a good place and would be received well. And my intentions and thoughts would come across clearly, because I really care about this team, really care about this team. And I want us to keep this a really good place. And sometimes we just have to explain to people why things should be the way they are. It doesn't have to be, I don't want anybody to feel that. My worst fear is that you guys are going to feel like, oh, can't do this, can't do that, did that wrong, got to change that, because I've done all these things. But it's things that I've learned along the way that I really felt like needed explaining of how it can or can't add value to our team. And it's just really important if we want to stay a team that's positive and filled with integrity and authenticity. There are just some things that we maybe need to tweak a little bit, and that might help. So anyway, I hope this added value to you. And if you have questions, if you disagree with me, if you just are like, why did you say that? I really want to encourage you to reach out to me, because I would love to hopefully explain it better. And I thank you all for making it a priority to show up tonight and be present in your businesses and add value to other people. So thanks again, team.